The year is well and truly underway, and it's time to start organising your weekly schedule. And for most of us here at Voice Essentials, that means we need to look at our singing practice routine. How much and how often is a question I get asked a lot here on the Voice Essentials channel. So let's answer this query once and for all, and while we're at it, we'll also discuss exactly what you should be practicing to get the very best out of your singing voice.
Sound check. Check 1, check 2.
Hi everyone, I hope you've all had an awesome week thus far. My name, for those of you who don't know me, is Dr. Dan. I'm a contemporary singing voice specialist, which means it's my job to help you realise the full potential of your singing voice. And a big part of you achieving your vocal goals is driven by your singing practice. But how much should you practice and how often? Is it possible to over-practice, and in doing so, can you place your vocal health at risk? Well, the first thing to understand is that unlike other instruments, the human voice has physical limitations that should be heeded. For example, if you're learning the piano or guitar, the more time you can spend on the instrument, the better. Many student singers want to approach their voice in the same manner, but you can't. The human voice fatigues with use. Therefore, it needs periods of rest. Now, we've talked about vocal rest and vocal pacing in previous videos, which I'll leave links to in the description section below. But suffice to say, the overarching rule is to approach your vocal development with a long-term view. The reality is that you won't achieve all your vocal development dreams in 1 month or even 1 year. This in turn should direct your vocal practice. The old adage of eating an elephant one spoonful at a time applies nicely here. Your entire journey of vocal development is, let's say, an elephant, and each spoonful is one single practice session. If you try and gorge yourself by eating multiple spoonfuls in a single setting, you're likely to give yourself a tummy ache, or as the case may be, a vocal ache. So learn to pace your practice throughout the week with regular rest days and stamina building habits.
Sound check.
Stamina building habits. What's that, I hear you ask? Well, simply, your stamina is derived from your personal capacity to sing for extended periods of time. When I first start with a new singing student, I generally prescribe a practice routine of approximately 20 minutes every second day for the first 2 weeks. Importantly, the 20 minutes is split into 60% technique, 60% repertoire. This ratio split ensures that our focus is the technical development of the voice and not simply singing songs. After 2 weeks of 20 minutes every second day, I increase the load to 25 minutes, still every second day, and I keep increasing the practice sessions by 5 minutes every 2 weeks until the student is capable of practicing for about an hour. Now, there are some exceptions to this generalised approach that I'll outline in a moment, but for most beginner singers, this is an excellent place to start and should enable the voice to slowly but surely develop vocal stamina that is both healthy and sustainable. So that's how much and how often. Let's now look at what you should practice each time you step into your practice space.
Sound check.
Most singing teachers will have a pathway of vocal exercises that they will lead their students through over time. I'm no different in this regard. My singing exercise CD, Dr. Dan's Voice Essentials, lays out 18 singing exercises that I systematically lead new students through over 10 structured lessons. For the first number of lessons, I like my students to do each and every exercise that we've covered in the order that we've covered them. But there comes a point when the student has collected more singing exercises than can be achieved in a single practice session. And it's at this stage that the student needs to be a little bit more strategic and creative about their practice and what their training session might focus on. So, for example, if you've been learning voice for longer than 12 months, you'll generally need to pick and choose the exercises that you're going to work on. A good way to approach this is to apply a theme to your practice time. For example, you might choose to focus on your breath management and work through each activity that workshops your breathing. Another theme might be to drill your voice's accuracy of note, and so the exercises you choose to sing will challenge your pitch and intonation. There are no right or wrongs here. It's simply all about fashioning your practice towards productive outcomes. Now, before we finish today's video, I just want to quickly highlight some exceptions to the generalized rules I've been discussing today. But before I do, be sure to hit the thumbs up button if you're enjoying today's video.
Sound check.
So, in general, if you're a beginner to intermediate singer, practice every second day starting with 20 minutes and slowly increase your practice sessions over time. Now, I say in general because there are some exceptions to the rule. Firstly, I mentioned earlier in the video that your practice ratio should be 60-40, with more time being given to technical exercises than repertoire. If the student is diligent with their technical development, this ratio should start to see a natural shift at about the 2 to 3 year mark, with repertoire taking over as the dominant aspect of the practice time. I've also suggested that the general length of practice time should be about 60 minutes once the student has established about 3 months of regular practice. Now again, this rule of thumb is aimed at the beginner to intermediate amateur singer. If you're a professional singer, then you may need to develop your stamina to sustain longer practice times. I always direct my pro vocal clients to practice in 50-minute sets separated by 20 minutes rest. And unless you're preparing for an extreme tour, you should only need to do a maximum of 2 50-minute sets in practice. And please, if you're a working singer, be sure to schedule at least 1 to 2 days a week of relative vocal rest. I cannot stress enough how much benefit your voice will get from 1 or 2 days of rest from singing. Be sure to leave me a comment below outlining your vocal practice routine tips and tricks. I know everyone here at the Voice Essentials community will learn something from your experience. And of course, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, allow me to invite you over to my channel to subscribe for more content designed to develop your voice and improve your sound. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.